This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, it is Friday, end of the week finally. And here's what we got going on today. First segment, we're going to be talking about the 3 World Cup games from earlier today on Friday. Brazil, Costa Rica, Nigeria, Iceland, Serbia, Switzerland. Second segment, we're going to get into the draft, all right, the NBA draft, talk about what I liked, what I didn't like. And then for the third segment, we'll be talking about the games going on this weekend for the World Cup. All right, got a bunch going on there. Some teams being able to clinch spots in the next round with some wins, so we'll be talking about that. And then for the fourth segment, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports or anything else that's crossed my mind. All right, so that's how today's show is going to go. It's going to be a fun one. So let's get into it. All right. Obviously, we have Brazil, Costa Rica for the first matchup here today. Brazil in their first match against Switzerland weren't too convincing. Drew 1-1. All right, scored a goal. After that, played terrible. Had chances at the end of the match, but of course, it was too little, too late there. All right. Obviously, this was a must-win against Costa Rica. At least I feel it was. Wasn't too sure about how well Neymar was going to play, or even if he was going to play. He did. Let's see, any change to the starting lineup for them? There was not. All right, but nonetheless, Neymar came out, played well today, got a goal, had a few chances too. Let's see, he had 1 goal, obviously, had 3 shots on target, only 1 off. He was fouled 4 times. Obviously, that's a lot less than against Switzerland when he was fouled 10 times, but nonetheless played well. And you had Felipe Coutinho scoring too. All right, Brazil for most of this game were basically dominating. It's just they couldn't get the ball into the net until the 90th minute. All right, Costa Rica was seemingly just sitting back, hoping to withstand the attack, and they did well, I guess, in order of in part of parking the bus. Costa Rica did have a couple more chances, though, in this game, more so in the first half than it was the second half. Second half, they didn't take any shots, but nonetheless, like I said, they were basically just trying to park the bus, hoping that they'd get a result out of this match. They nearly did. All right. Of course, the ball falls into the middle of the box. Coutinho's running in, and there's nothing Keylor Navas could do about it. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, is it a little concerning, the fact that it took Brazil so long to find a goal? All right, I might just be reaching for hot takes or whatnot, but I don't know. It's just, I know Brazil were attacking. They were the better team. It's just, I don't know. Getting your game-winning goal in the 90th minute doesn't really have me put too much faith in them, okay? But nonetheless, I mean, they finished the game with 71% possession, took 22 shots, 10 of them were on target. It's just you expect at least one of them early on in the game to go in, but obviously it doesn't work out that way. All right. Costa Rica is now out of the World Cup. Last World Cup, we saw them make it to the quarters. This World Cup, I mean, it was pretty much you're in and you're out. All right, this Costa Rica team obviously not as good as the past one, or if anything, just didn't have the same amount of luck as their past one. And as for Brazil, I mean, I guess you can't knock them too much. They did pull out the win. They are currently, I believe, let's see, first in their group, tied with Switzerland with 4 points. All right, so, I mean, things are looking good for them. We're getting closer to a possible Germany-Brazil round of 16 matchup. All right, I think in order for that to happen, we'd need Germany to beat Sweden, Mexico to beat South Korea, and then I believe it'd need Mexico get a result against Sweden, and then Germany, I think, would just need at least a win. Germany wins the next 2, they're most likely in and playing Brazil. All right, but of course, Brazil still got to handle Serbia in their next matchup. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, they were the dominant team. Like I said, held the ball for most of the game, had a whole bunch of shots. It just took to the 90th minute for them to go in. So you can't really fault them there, I guess, given the fact that Costa Rica was absolutely parking the bus in this one. All right, so that one ended 2-0. Then we had Nigeria and Iceland. Iceland coming off of a draw against Argentina, probably the biggest result in their history, I'd say. Would it be drawing with Argentina in the World Cup, or would it be beating England in the Euros in round of 16? I feel given World Cup's a bigger stage, Argentina's a better team, it'd have to be Argentina, right? I'd assume so, but also there is the point that they did beat England and not draw with England, so I don't know. Kind of a give and take there, but nonetheless, they ended up losing to Nigeria 2-0. All right, you had Ahmed Musa with both goals scored in the 49th minute and the 75th. Had a nice one, we did a nice little half volley. All right, shot it into the net. Was easily the best player out there today. And I was expecting this kind of Nigeria performance against Croatia. Obviously, we didn't get it, as disappointing as that was. But nonetheless, I mean, Nigeria, without a doubt, were the best team in this match. Had the ball 61% of the time, took 16 shots, 4 of them on target. Iceland was a little bit more active in this one. Took 5 shots. They were the better team, I'd say, in the first half. All right. Iceland took 5 shots in the first half compared to Nigeria's 0. Had 2 shots on target compared to Nigeria's 0. It's just they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And then it's the second half that Nigeria really took over, where they had the ball 58% of the time. They took their 16 shots, 4 of them on target and all that, you know how I said. All right, so like I said, I mean, wasn't necessarily a great first half by Nigeria, but second half comes and they just simply dominated there. All right, Gylfi Sigurdsson, too, missed a penalty in this one. Would have helped out a bit on goal differential if he would have hit it. Possibly even would have given him another shot to come back, given they'd only be a goal down. Momentum's on your side, and we all know how that 2-0 lead in soccer is one of the worst to have. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, looking at Nigeria's starting lineup, you went with Musa. They started Iheanacho. I like that right there, given the fact that I think Iheanacho is a nice little young player, and he just needs some time. Like, he needs playing time in order to show it. All right. Basically played, I guess, like 3 center backs. 2 wing backs there. All right, Victor Moses did well. I believe he had an assist in this one. Yes, he had 1 assist, and like I said, Musa scored twice. As for Iceland, I don't believe they're done yet. All right, Croatia is already advanced. And let's see, if Iceland were to beat Croatia, Argentina beats Nigeria, I think Iceland would be ahead, unless, of course, Argentina's goal differential was better. All right, so obviously Iceland and Argentina need wins in order to keep themselves alive. Everyone's only playing for the second spot here, unless Nigeria, of course, beats Argentina. Nigeria beats Argentina, and then they do have actually, it's looking like Croatia most likely does have that number 1 spot locked up, so everyone's going to be pretty much playing for second here. Like I said, I mean, Argentina's at a -3 goal differential right now with 1 point. Iceland's at -2. There's no telling that Argentina's going to be able to beat Nigeria. That's not going to be an easy task at all. All right, they draw, they're out. And that's basically all that Nigeria needs to make it out the group as a draw. Because I mean, I highly doubt that Iceland beats Croatia, and let alone, I mean, if they do, I highly doubt they beat them by 2+ goals. All right, so it's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening there. But nonetheless, for the final game of the night, probably the best game of the night, best game of the day, I should say, was Serbia versus Switzerland. Like I said, Switzerland drew with Brazil in their first matchup. Serbia beat Costa Rica off of a penalty by Kolarov, or not penalty, a free kick by Kolarov in the first match. Here we had Serbia jumping out to the 1-0 lead in the, let's see, was it the 5th minute? All right, off of a header, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. It was early on today, but nonetheless, yeah, they ended up going out 1-0. Halftime comes. Second half comes. You got Granit Xhaka hitting pretty much a laser into the back of the net from outside the 18 on the left side. He scores that in the 52nd minute. I think that was probably the best goal of the tournament so far. All right, Nachos was a good goal. I liked Ronaldo's free kick to win it, but nonetheless, I think that this was the goal of the tournament so far. All right. And then, game's going on. Seems like both teams are pretty even, looking like it's going to end as a draw. I'd say that probably benefits Serbia more than it would Switzerland. But of course, Switzerland, just like the 2014 World Cup, end up coming away with a clutch goal at the end in order to take points away. All right, so you had Shaqiri scoring in the 90th minute. I mean, it was basically him one-on-one with the defender and keeper. They couldn't do anything to stop him. He ends up scoring, like I said, and of course, Switzerland ended up taking the lead and winning. All right. Switzerland played well here to come back from behind. Serbia, it seemed, I mean, they had chances. Second half, they really couldn't get anything going. First half was one where they dominated. First half, they took 11 shots. 3 of them were on target. Switzerland took 8 in that second half, but nonetheless couldn't get a goal. And then 8 in that first half, couldn't get a goal. And then once the second half got here, that's when Switzerland basically dominated. All right, Serbia only had 2 shots, none of them on target. All right, Switzerland took 12, had 56% of the possession, 4 of them were on target, and of course they got their 2 goals there. All right, Serbia just couldn't handle the onslaught from the Swiss attack. So now, like I said, looking at the standings for Group E, Brazil's up top with 4, Switzerland second with 4. All right, Brazil ahead on goal differential with a +2, Switzerland with a +1. Serbia in third with 3 points, still got a chance to win the group, I'd say. And then you got Costa Rica, who are out of contention from advancing. Now it's just pretty much you're playing Switzerland for pride whenever they play next. All right. And as far as Nigeria's and Iceland's group, like I said, we got Croatia in first with 6, Nigeria in second with 3 points, Iceland in third with 1, and then Argentina dead last with 1 point also. Last due to the fact that they have the worst goal differential in the group. I mean, how many people expected Argentina to be this bad? All right. I mean, I assume this would be a tough group, but nonetheless, the way they've played, it's got to be on the coach, right? I mean, it seems that Argentina pretty much came into this World Cup without any tactical plan or anything like that. All right, they kind of look kind of flustered and about out of sorts, confused when they're out there. It didn't seem like they have that, like I said, that true tactical plan that, all right, this is what Argentina's trying to do. Now they got to try and stop it. All right. So we'll see what happens with Argentina. Of course, they beat Nigeria. They're more than likely going to make it out. But that's no easy task. Plus, you need Croatia to beat Iceland there, too. So we'll see what ends up going down there. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about the NBA draft. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that first segment talking about today's World Cup matches. Brazil ended up beating Costa Rica 2-0. Both goals came from the 90th minute and on. I mean, Costa Rica was parking the bus the entire time, so obviously it's tough for Brazil to score. But, I mean, does the Brazil team really scare you at all after 2 matches? I'd say probably not. All right, Nigeria beat Iceland. Obviously, that was a big result for Argentina there. All right, I believe if Iceland would have won, they would have been up 4 points. All right. Or actually been up 3 points on Argentina. But nonetheless, Nigeria took care of business there. Nigeria now in second place of the group with 3 points. All right, 2 ahead of Iceland and Argentina. Their next game is obviously going to be against Argentina, talking about Nigeria. And that's going to be a tough matchup for Argentina. I'm not going to go out and say, oh, yeah, they definitely got that one in the bag because, I mean, Nigeria could easily beat them given the way that Argentina has played so far. And, I mean, every year we do have a top team who seems to not be able to make it out the group. Looking like it's probably going to be Argentina this year. So, I mean, if I had to put money on it, I'd say, yeah, Nigeria ends up coming away with a result and ends up making it out the group. So we'll see what ends up going down there. Then we had Switzerland barely beating Serbia. All right, Shaqiri scoring the game-winning goal in the 90th minute. I mean, it seems to happen every World Cup. They did the same thing in the last World Cup there. Switzerland is always a difficult team to play in the World Cup also. So we'll see what ends up going down in that group. Right now you got Brazil, who are currently in first with 4 points. All right, Switzerland second with 4, and you got Serbia in third with 3. So, I mean, 2 out of those 3 teams still have a chance of making it out. All right, Serbia wins. They end up making it out of the group. I think Switzerland needs a win or draw, and Brazil needs a win or draw, too, to make it out. So, obviously, Brazil and Switzerland's half of the group is a whole lot easier than Serbia's. So, we'll see what ends up happening there. Like I said, we got a bunch of games going on this weekend. We'll be talking about those in the next segment. But for this one, we're going to be talking about the NBA draft. Finally took place. All right. Was supposedly supposed to be the one where we see a bunch of trades happening. All right, there's a bunch of chaos. I don't really think there was too much chaos. I think the draft was very pedestrian. All right. And, I mean, I feel like everything that we expected to happen happened. All right. DeAndre Ayton goes number 1 to the Suns. That's the right pick. Okay. I think him, Booker are going to be a nice little 1-2 duo. Plus, you got TJ Warren still there. Josh Jackson. And who else am I missing? Or is that it? Oh, yeah, and Elfrid Payton. All right, it's a solid young core there. Now it's just a matter of building around that young core. Kings take Marvin Bagley. Kings fans, not happy at all. You could tell. That seems to be the consensus around it. And, I mean, I'm not sure what I think of this pick. Bagley, obviously one of the more athletic players in this draft, but yeah, that's it. He's just athletic right now. He has no jump shot or anything like that. All right. You're basically drafting Bagley because you expect him to be like a Jaylen Brown type. All right. Jaylen Brown getting drafted by the Celtics. Pure athleticism. No one, like, he didn't really have a shot coming in, but nonetheless developed it and is now looking like a future superstar for that team. I'm sure maybe that's what the Kings are expecting with Bagley, but also, I mean, there is the fact that he's the only guy that seemingly wanted to come to Sac. Okay. I think he's the only top prospect that worked out for Sacramento. So, I mean, Kings really had no choice here. All right. They chose not to take Doncic. Hopefully they're right, I guess. All right. Because if not, this is going to be another long line of picks that the Kings got wrong. All right. Like I said, this is one where this is basically taking Baker Mayfield number 1. All right. He's not the clear-cut number 1 prospect in your draft. But you're basically taking him because you think, yeah, this guy's going to be a star. That's why the Kings are taking Bagley. All right, he's not the clear-cut number 1 prospect. He's not a better prospect than Aiden. He's not a better prospect than Doncic. But nonetheless, I mean, I guess what do the Kings have to lose? You've been bad since 2006, last time you made the playoffs. What's another few years going to do to you? All right, and it seemed that Kings are just fine with Fox being their point guard and playing with Bogdanovic out there. I'm curious to see what kind of lineup they'd be rolling out. Like, would it be Fox, Bogdanovic? Could you throw Bagley at the 3, even though it pretty much seems like he doesn't like playing the 3? Like, it's gonna be very odd to see exactly how they throw this lineup out there. All right, but nonetheless, that was their guy at number 2. Hawks, I mean, seemed like they got pretty lucky. Oh, we get to take Doncic. We could trade Schroeder to get some things for him. Yeah, they take Doncic, but only to trade him to the Mavericks. All right, for Trae Young. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Trae Young, I guess, is being compared as the next Steph Curry. All right, is that why the Hawks like him so much? I mean, possibly. But it's just kind of curious to me to see, like, why these teams decided, the first 3 teams in the draft decided we didn't want Doncic. Okay? And we'll never know if he would have went number 4 to the Grizzlies, given the fact that the Mavericks and Hawks already had that trade made up before. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, the first 3 teams passed on Doncic. Shouldn't that tell us a little something? If he's regarded as the number 1 prospect in this draft? I mean, the Hawks felt that they were better off taking Trae Young than they were Doncic. All right. So, I mean, you can look at it any other way that you want, but nonetheless, I'm a bit skeptical. Okay. Of course, I understand the Suns taking Ayton. I guess the Kings taking Bagley. They haven't always been the smartest front office, so that could be a point there. And then with the Hawks, I mean, same with them. They haven't necessarily been too smart in their rebuild, so maybe it's there. All right, but nonetheless, Doncic is playing for the Mavericks now. I mean, you got Smith, you got Doncic, you got Harrison Barnes. Do you go offer Boogie the max now? I think you might. Okay. I think that's a solid little move there. Obviously, you offer Boogie the max. That's going to be tough considering the fact that he's a 7-footer coming off of an Achilles injury. But nonetheless, if he could drop some weight and reshape his game a bit to where it benefits him in his post-injury play, I think you got something there. All right, Dennis Smith, Luka Doncic, Harrison Barnes. I guess Dirk at the 4, Cousins at the 5. That's not necessarily... That might be... If Doncic is what everyone says he's going to be, that might be an AC-type team. Okay? I really like Dennis Smith. Harrison Barnes has played well for the Mavericks in his first 2 seasons there. He's averaged 19 points both seasons. Okay? I think this year he averaged 19 and 6. Dirk, obviously not what he once was, but of course, I mean, he's not going to play the entire game. All right, and then you have a DeMarcus Cousins where we know when he's healthy he's a top 5 center. Obviously, we don't know what he looks like after a post-Achilles injury. Okay, but nonetheless, I think that this is even more so cause for the Mavericks to go and get Boogie Cousins. All right, or maybe you get a guy like DeAndre Jordan. He once almost signed there. Maybe you try and make it work out again. I mean, I could only imagine what social media would look like when that happened. I'm sure the Mavericks would find some fun way to spin it around. All right. So, I mean, Mavericks, they're doing well as far as their rebuild. Okay. Had the 5th pick, ended up with arguably the number 1 prospect. I mean, what more could you ask for there? The Grizzlies take Jaren Jackson Jr. He's one of the more raw type prospects, a guy who could be a star from the jump. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what they do with him and how they develop him. Magic got Mo Bamba. I like Mo Bamba. I don't like the team he ended up with. I was hoping maybe he ended up with the Mavericks. All right, but of course, I mean, when you get a chance at Luka Doncic, you take that. And, I mean, maybe the Magic could get it right this time, but it's just a point where they've drafted so many young, good players, but just seemingly haven't been able to develop them the right way or just haven't put together the right team yet. All right, so I guess Mo Bamba to the Magic is the right pick, but I just hope the Magic don't really ruin it. Then we had Wendell Carter going to the Bulls. All right. I think that's going to be a solid player for them. A guy that you could play next to Lauri Markkanen. Probably give Lauri Markkanen a little bit more help there too, so we'll see what ends up going down there. Colin Sexton to the Cavs. Finally get their point guard. I like this pick. I liked watching Colin Sexton in the NCAA tournament. Thought he opened up some eyes there. Thought he played extremely well. All right, so I like that pick. You get Kevin Knox going to the Knicks. You figured maybe they take Mikal Bridges or you take Michael Porter. Knicks decided no. Okay. This could be a pick where the Knicks got it wrong again. It could be one where they got it right. But I would have liked to see Michael Porter there or even Mikal Bridges. All right, speaking of Mikal Bridges, probably story of the night. Gets taken at number 10 by the Philadelphia 76ers. Hometown Philly kid, favorite team. Mom works for the Sixers too. Perfect story. All right. Gets to wear the Philly hat. He's at a press conference talking about what it means to play for Philly. He's taking pictures. People are asking him, oh, how happy are you to be playing for Philly? He's very excited about it. All right, you could tell his mom was excited. Everyone was excited for him. But the Sixers don't care about your feelings. Okay? They end up trading Mikal Bridges over to Phoenix for Zaire Smith out of Texas Tech. The most ruthless move I've seen from a franchise. I mean, they let the kid walk around, had his head up because he's playing with the hometown team. Fans were excited about it. Fans loved the pick. I mean, Mikal Bridges is probably one of the most NBA-ready prospects in this draft, and you trade him away. I don't think Philly necessarily had the greatest draft here. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll see. All right. I think Mikal Bridges probably was the better player than Zaire Smith, but obviously Philly saw what they liked in Smith, so I don't know. It made no sense to me because the trade happened after the pick, too. Like, I don't get it. If you wanted Smith, then why not just take him? Was it to get Smith in a draft pick? Possibly. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, the Suns ended up with Ayton and Mikal Bridges. That's 2 for 2 right there. Then you got the Clippers taking Miles Bridges. Michael Porter ends up going number 14 to the Nuggets. Nuggets are going to be a scary team going forward. All right, that offense is going to be disgusting. You're going to have Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Michael Porter, Paul Millsap, Nikola Jokic. I mean, that starting 5 doesn't get any more exciting. All right, I think the Nuggets definitely will make the playoffs next season. And, I mean, let's say that this whole injury report of Michael Porter was overblown and there was never really any true trouble with him. And he turns out to be the player we all expected to, the scoring machine that everyone expects. The Nuggets are going to be so good, dude. Nuggets are going to be a team who maybe in a few years can compete for the championship. All right. I mean, the fact that he slipped all the way to them is something where, I mean, you can't really script that any better for them. All right. So, I mean, I think they had a very good draft, the Nuggets, just with that pick alone. Let's see. Grayson Allen ends up going number 21 to the Utah Jazz. I think that's a good fit for him. I figured a team like Boston, Utah, a team like the Warriors would be a solid fit, given the fact that he needs to go to a team where they got a solid little organization and a solid head coach to where they can develop him and put him in spots to where he'll succeed. Quinn Snyder's the perfect coach for that. He's always going to get the most out of you. He's not going to try to make you do something that you're not really good at. All right, so I think Grayson Allen's going to be a decent player for the Jazz. Let's see. Aaron Holiday going to the Indiana Pacers. His brother Justin Holiday's in the league along with what's the other Holiday name? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank there. All right, Drew Holiday, I believe. So Pacers got a solid player there. Lakers ended up taking Mo Wagner. Was a beast for Michigan in this NCAA tournament, if you remember. I think that's a real solid pick for the Lakers. Celtics looking like everyone. I guess the consensus is they got the steal of the first round, taking Robert Williams. All right, was a lottery-type prospect, but I guess some off-the-field stuff is what had him drop. Celtics get their big man where, I mean, he's athletic. He's able to be a solid rim protector, block shots, get rebounds and all. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that they have with Aaron Baines as a free agent. Greg Monroe's probably gone after this free offseason too. So he's probably going to be a guy who gets submitted from the start. We'll see exactly how well he does. All right, so that was the first round right there. I mean, Kings, obviously, you're not sure if they made the right choice. Suns, I'd say, had the best first round, getting Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton. I like Doncic to the Mavericks. I think it's going to be a solid pick right there. Like I said, I like Grayson Allen to the Jazz, Williams to the Celtics, and then Michael Porter to the Nuggets, I feel like was the best value pick there, just given where they were. All right, so it's going to be very interesting. No Kawhi Leonard. All right, no news from him. Seems like, well, yeah, he wasn't traded or whatnot. I mean, I guess that kind of takes the Clippers out of it, unless they're going to trade their draft picks. All right, Lakers still have a chance to trade for him, which I'm not sure exactly happens. And as far as the Celtics, I don't really see them really doing much there too. So, I mean, honestly, we could just see Kawhi Leonard end up with the Spurs all season and then him just leave. So we'll see exactly what ends up going down there. But nonetheless, next up, we're going to be talking about this weekend's World Cup game. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Friday's World Cup matches, and we talked about the NBA draft in the second segment. All right, we had DeAndre Ayton going number 1, Bagley going number 2 to the Kings. Then the Hawks end up taking Doncic, but trade him over to the Mavericks for Trae Young. And then you had Jaren Jackson Jr. going number 4 to the Memphis Grizzlies. All right. I mean, Michael Porter ends up dropping to number 14 to the Nuggets. I don't know. Nuggets by far had the best pick there. And then, let's see. Colin Sexton ends up going to the Cavs. So we'll see how these players end up doing. I mean, this could be a very good draft. It could be a very poor draft. None of us know, so I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But nonetheless, talking about the World Cup, like I said, we had Brazil beating Costa Rica today 2-0. Nigeria beating Iceland 2-0. And then Switzerland beating Serbia 2-1. Now, we got the games going on over the weekend. It'll be the final, or actually, it'll be the end of round 2 of the group stage. All right. We got Belgium versus Tunisia, South Korea versus Mexico, Germany versus Sweden on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we got England, Panama, Japan, Senegal, and then Poland, Colombia. All right. So, with Belgium and Tunisia, do we expect any struggle here from Belgium? All right. Do we expect Tunisia to go out and defend well enough to where Belgium's struggling to score and the match is almost over type of thing with Costa Rica and Brazil today? Is it going to be that type of matchup, or are we expecting Belgium to go out and beat down on Tunisia like they did to Panama? Okay. I mean, given the team that Belgium has, they should have absolutely no trouble with Tunisia. All right. And, I mean, of course, on paper, Tunisia can't match up with Belgium at all. But, of course, I'm sure no one expected Tunisia to give England a decent fight, right? All right. And it just seems that these lower-level national teams have done well against these top teams. All right. I mean, Croatia beating Argentina, Iceland drawing with Argentina, Switzerland drawing with Brazil, Mexico beating Germany. All right, these top teams haven't necessarily had the greatest World Cup. All right, there's been a lot of almost upsets. There's been a lot of upsets. And I think here maybe we could possibly see something, but I doubt it will happen. All right, and I think Belgium's going to win this one pretty easily. I'd say probably something like a 2-0, possibly. A 3-0, maybe. I think 2-0 is probably the closest, given the fact that Tunisia actually does defend well. All right, so I'd say, yeah, for Belgium, we'll go 2-0 against Tunisia. Then we got Germany and Sweden on Saturday also. Sweden did well to beat South Korea when they played this past, what was it, Sunday, I believe, or was it on, I believe it was this past Monday. All right, they beat them 1-0. Sweden pretty much dominated the entire match. South Korea had a couple of chances, but nothing real concrete. And Sweden basically dominated the entire match from start to finish. All right. As for Germany, we know they lost to Mexico. Had plenty of chances, but more so never changed up tactically during that match. It was pretty much the same old for them. Not really trying to change anything, and simply couldn't put it in the back of the net. Now, I mean, Germany's got their backs against the wall. They lose here, they're out of the tournament. All right. Yeah. Yeah, they'd definitely be out if they end up losing. Obviously, they need some type of result here. Sweden isn't a bad team. Hummels is going to be missing this matchup too. I mean, it just seems like Argentina and Germany might be the teams of destiny where they're not going to be making it out the group. All right. But even then, I mean, with Hummels being out, I still think that Germany does have a solid enough replacement for him in order to where they'll be fine. Okay, looking at their squad as far as the defenders, let's see, you can replace them easily with either Rudiger, Schuler, or even Ginter. All right, I think that's possible there. Let's see. I think maybe on the outsides, you should probably play, I guess you got to play Kimmich and Plattenhardt, but nonetheless, I mean, yeah, as far as Rudiger, Schuler, or even Ginter, I mean, they're not necessarily bad replacements for Hummels. They still can play well. All right, Rudiger, I believe, isn't he a Chelsea prospect? All right, isn't he? I think he was on loan from, they sent him out on loan, though. But nonetheless, I mean, I do expect Germany to at least come away with a result against Sweden. Sweden could be a team that you see sit back and try and counter, kind of like taking the page out of Mexico's book there. But even then, I mean, I think Germany's going to be able to pull it out here. So then we got Mexico versus South Korea. This one kind of scares me a bit for Mexico, given the fact that they tend to play down to their opponent's ability, and they'll play up to their opponent's ability when need be. Obviously, you saw that over against Germany. All right, but it seems one thing that's kind of giving me encouragement about this match is that they're trying to get away from the Germany match already. All right, meaning, yeah, we won, but now we're on to South Korea. All right, I think that's a solid mentality in order to keep you on your toes. All right, because obviously South Korea isn't the most technically gifted team. They don't have the great players that, say, the decent amount of players that a Mexico would have, or even a Germany or anything like that. All right, they're not really a team that scares you. But nonetheless, you underestimate them, they're going to catch you off guard. All right, and they do have Son, a player from Tottenham, was one of Tottenham's best players this season, I'd say. All right, went through a little stretch where he was scoring a bunch of goals. I think scored like in 6 straight games for Tottenham this season. All right, in all competitions. And like I said, I mean, if you're Mexico, you don't want to be caught off guard by South Korea. I think they're going to end up winning, but it's not going to be the prettiest of matches, I'd say. All right, so we'll see there. Then we got on Sunday, like I said, England versus Panama. This could be a bit of a trap game for England here. Okay? Normally, you'd expect England to win games like these. I mean, you figured they'd beat Tunisia pretty easily. That never happened. But Panama's one where they're not going to make it easy for you to score. All right? Obviously, for Belgium, they didn't really have too much of a hard time. But Panama's more of a scrappy type of team. All right? They're not necessarily the cleanest team as far as their play. And I don't think Panama's going to get a result, but I think it's going to be one where it's very difficult for England. Kind of like a repeat of the Tunisia game, except maybe even a little bit tougher. All right. And, I mean, I could just be reaching here, trying to bring interest to this game, but nonetheless, I do think Panama is at least going to give England a little run for their money. I'm not sure if they're going to get a goal or whatnot, but England definitely will have to work for the 3 points. Then we get Japan versus Senegal. That's also going to be a great game right there. I got to go Senegal here. All right, they played well against Poland. I'd say they probably outplayed Poland for that matter. All right, Poland's got a lot of not star players. They got Lewandowski and a couple of other solid ones. But nonetheless, I think Senegal's going to get it done against Japan. And then we got Poland and Colombia. Basically, whoever wins this one has a chance to make it out. Whoever loses it is out of the tournament, I'd say. Okay, it's going to be tough. I'd say if James starts, then Colombia is the favorite, but who knows whether or not he will start. All right. I think he should. I mean, if he played in that match against Japan, he should start in this one. All right, so it'll be very interesting to see what ends up happening there. We might even see a draw. I mean, we haven't seen too many draws so far in this World Cup, have we? Let's see, how many draws have we had? We had one, Denmark, Australia. I think that might be it. Oh, Brazil, Switzerland, and Argentina, Iceland, Portugal, Spain. So we've had three upsets, or 3 draws, I believe. So not too many, obviously. So we've had a lot of winners here. I guess I'll go Colombia in this one. All right. I mean, of course, they lost to Japan. A lot of that had to do with the fact that they were playing with 10 men from 3 minutes on. Carlos Sanchez doesn't end up getting a red here, then I think they're fine. All right, and it was Carlos Sanchez who got the red in the last match, wasn't it, I believe? Let me double check that. But nonetheless, yeah, so it was Carlos Sanchez. So yeah, I do expect them to play a whole lot better here. All right, I'm sure James Rodriguez will probably take over Sanchez's spot, or they'll throw someone else out there. But nonetheless, I do expect Colombia to end up winning there. I mean, they're a team where they need to do well. So we'll see what ends up going down there. Those are the games going on over the weekend. Of course, it's going to be the end of match day 2 on Sunday. And then, of course, we got match day 3. We're going to see who exactly is going to be playing who in the round of 16 after those games. So we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Friday's World Cup matches, talked about this weekend's World Cup matches, and also talked about the NBA draft from yesterday. And I'm still thinking about Mikal Bridges getting drafted by the Sixers and how, I mean, like I said, you had the ESPN talking to him and stuff. You had a mom talking about how excited she was that her son gets to play for the hometown team, gets to play for the team she works for. How she does a job with human resources or whatever it was that she did over there with the Sixers, and now he's going to Phoenix. I mean, one of the all-time it's a business moves in all of professional sports. Okay. Let's see. This is kind of like... This is like maybe like something close to this would be like if Doc Rivers ended up trading Austin Rivers, his son, over to like a team like Sacramento or wherever everyone hates to play in the NBA. All right, even though that's a little bit different, but that's like that would be one of the it's a business type moves right there. All right, but I mean, like I said, they had him going and talking, and no one told the guy anything too. Like there was a point where he got traded, he was still talking in a press conference, he was still doing pictures and stuff with the Sixers hat on, and I'm sure the dude had to be so excited. All right, it's his draft day. One of the biggest days of his life. You get drafted by your hometown team, the team you rooted for, the team your mom works for. You get to commute to work and all that together, carpool, all that fun stuff. Live at home too if you want. And yeah, glad you had a great time and all, Mikal, but we're going to send you over to one of the hottest places in the United States. All right, where there's probably nothing to do in Phoenix. All right. Send you over to the West Coast, completely across the way from us. I mean, there's no way he was happy about it. All right. But nonetheless, you got to feel bad for Mikal Bridges. But also, it is a business, so you can't feel too bad, I guess. They know what they're up with. All right. Then, of course, the shocker of the night, LiAngelo Ball. Doesn't look like he's going to find himself a team. Went undrafted yesterday. I mean, how could this prospect, who was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, did not play college ball, went to go play in a Lithuanian league, how do you not get drafted there? All right, how? It had to be set up, right? But no, in all seriousness, I mean, that's not a shocker at all. I wasn't surprised. All right, I mean, like I said, like, why would you bring him on? I mean, consensus is that he's not good enough for the NBA. All right, I think the only reasons why he got a scholarship to UCLA in the first place was because so they could get LaMelo there, the youngest brother, and plus Lonzo played there. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, is some team going to give him a shot? I'm not too sure. Maybe a G League team ends up picking him up, but can G League teams even pick up players like that, or is it the team that, like the NBA team that owns him, has to pick him up and set him through that way? All right. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, it's not a surprise that he doesn't get picked up. I mean, I'm not even sure where draft analysts had him on their big board. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to get picked up. One player that did get picked up, though, was Kostas Antetokounmpo. All right. Giannis's younger brother. Can we get double trouble? 2 Greek freaks? Maybe. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, I'm not surprised at all that LiAngelo Ball didn't get picked up. Lakers pretty much declined. They declined to invite him to Summer League, and they said it's not just a basketball decision. All right. I mean, you're bringing LiAngelo Ball. That's gonna take a lot away from the guys that you drafted that are gonna be there for Summer League. It's gonna cause a distraction, I'd say. It will cause a distraction. All right. And you don't really want that if you're the Lakers right now. Yeah, it's completely not in the Lakers' best interest to bring in LiAngelo Ball when you're trying to bring in LeBron James. You're trying to bring in Paul George. You don't want to bring in LiAngelo Ball where it's going to be a media circus with him there. All right, you got bigger fish to fry. So I completely understand them not picking him up. As far as everything else about the draft, I mean, like I said, I think the Suns had the best draft. Then I'd say the Nuggets. Celtics got pretty lucky with their pick, the fact that Robert Williams fell that far down to him. The Kings, they better hope they got it right. Otherwise, it seems like their fans are going to be starting riots. All right. It seemed like Doncic, they thought, was the guy. But, I mean, of course, there hasn't been too many successful European players. And there hasn't been, at least to the point where, like with the hype that Doncic has had, I should say. All right. Because they're regarding him as one of the all-time great prospects coming into the draft. All right, but of course, there's never really been too many solid, great Duke players. All right. Kyrie Irving, I guess, is one. Is Kyrie Irving the best Duke player ever? Let's see, off the top of my head, there's Kyrie. Who else in the league is a great Duke player? Jason Tatum. There's not necessarily too many great Duke players. Maybe Grayson Allen could be one, but nonetheless, some of them have decent careers, but like I said, they're not as great as you'd expect since they're coming from Duke. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, there's that. Let's see anything else going on in the world of sports right now. Nothing really too much going on in the NFL. Terrell Owens runs some 4.4 40s. All right. I saw a team in Canada put him on their negotiation list. I mean, T.O. in Canada, I'd watch. All right. You got Manziel, T.O. in Canada, why not? Let's put Manziel and T.O. on the same Canadian team. I mean, imagine those little quarterback-receiver type of fights. I mean, imagine. That'd be hilarious. Okay. I mean, there's not really else much going on right now. So I think we're just going to have to wrap it up here for today. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. We just talked about the draft, the World Cup, benched a couple of other things. Like I said, feel bad for Mikal Bridges. I mean, imagine getting drafted by your favorite team, the team your family works for. You're expecting to be there. The fans are excited about it. Seems like a match made in heaven. And then they pull the fast one and say, yeah, just kidding. We're going to send you to Phoenix. I mean, this is going to be playing for a solid team over in Phoenix. Of course, he would have been playing in the playoffs with the Sixers. Probably would have been getting decent minutes too. But, I mean, seems like the Sixers front office had a pretty solid offseason, wouldn't you say? Yeah, no. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back on Monday, so stay tuned till then, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.